Hi there! In a world where nothing is certain, that means anything is possible, right? If you want to fulfill your dreams and desires, you are in the right place. You absolutely can have a life of happiness. Everyone deserves an abundance of love, laughter, success, health and wealth. I'm Tara Chadzakis and you're listening to the Happy, Inspired, Motivated podcast. The show that brings you meditation, mindset and motivation. So start by giving yourself permission to be awesome. Sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Hi there and welcome to this week's episode of Happy, Inspired, Motivated. Now today I am very blessed to have the beautiful and amazing Patricia Madalena with me. Patricia is an NLP master and she also trains. She's an integration therapist and she also has a book called The Happiness Hacker Reveals. This book is an Amazon #1 bestseller in the US and in the UK. Now I've spoken to Patricia before. We had an interview on the 21st of December, which was the winter solstice. It was a very powerful, energetic day, and I worked with Patricia to download my DNA, which she will tell you more about while we're speaking. So Patricia is, apart from her spiritual side, she also has a kids yoga business, and she does mindfulness teacher training too. Her kids yoga is called Wiggle Bums, which is a really cool name, I think, and that is at www.wigglebums.uk. And her spiritual side and mindfulness is at www.livingfree.eu. So let's get on and have a chat with Patricia. So, hi Patricia, it's so glad to have you here today. How are you doing in the new year?
Very well, actually. Yes, all very good. We've started off with a bang, that's for sure.
So you're excited for 2021 and what that's going to bring for you, I'm presuming?
Absolutely. I've just, December has just been a really palpable month for me personally, but also on a business front as well.
Yeah.
And I'm really kind of going into 2021 with full steam ahead, loads of plans. We're at the moment kind of doing the goal setting for the year. It's really funny because on the radio 6 this morning, there was a woman on there and she was saying, oh, let's do goals for this year, but don't send in big ones, just keep them small because we don't really know what's going to happen. What? And I was cooking the porridge and I was like, what? Keep them small? I'm not keeping my goals small.
What on
Mine
earth?
are huge.
What kind of advice is that?
I know, it was rubbish. So people were just sending in like really tiny little goals and I'm like, no, God, me and my son, we sat down yesterday, we did a big vision board plan for Wiggle Bums and my other kind of business, Living Free. And they're big goals, but then we've got all these little bite-sized goals.
Yeah.
We've kind of pulled them forward to achievable, doable ones. So I've got a plan. So I feel good when I've got a plan. I know what I'm doing.
Good. Yeah, I have my big goals, and I started making the plan of breaking them down yesterday. I haven't gone completely into it yet. Yeah, so yeah, I have got my big goals, and I was working on breaking them down, but they're not quite at the achievable level yet, but I'm working on that this week, so it's going to be all good. Yeah. So
well, when they are at that point and you know what you're doing next, it's just like, okay, so it's these few little steps. There's the big mountain. We don't have to really look at that, but we know it's there. And that's mindfulness, actually.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to mindfulness and goal setting, people can think that we can't have that future paced sense because mindfulness is about being present in the moment.
Yeah.
So they feel like they're contradicting having that mindful practice by kind of looking towards the future rather than being in the
Mm.
present. But it's about having a balance in that. So it's about, you know, having the focus in the future,
Yeah.
knowing where you want to go, anchoring that in, and then bringing it to the now with these little stepping stones. And then it's just,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel so overwhelming, does it?
No, you have to know where you're going as well. Do you? I mean, you wouldn't get in the car and just say drive, would you? You know, what is, you know, you're just going to be driving around the block forever, aren't you? You've got to have somewhere that you're going for. And it's the same when you plug your GPS in, or your sat nav, whatever, or your Google Maps, you give it the destination, and it drives me crazy when I'm driving and I've got the little thing in the screen in the corner of my windscreen, and it's showing me where I'm going, and I can't see the end destination. I can only see where I am right now, and I'm like, but I want to make sure I'm still going the right way.
Yeah, and then you have to pull over and kind of go out, zoom out, just to see if you're on the right road. But that's good. That's a good analogy, because, you know, we can set these goals at the beginning of the year, and then unless we revisit them in 3 months' time and then kind of bring ourselves back on track, we can really go off kilter. And those New Year resolutions, I hate New Year's resolutions, but those kind of New Year goals can just lie in the corner collecting dust. And we are then just kind of navigating aimlessly.
Yeah, we are. And I always take it down and I reset it again to make sure that I am still going to where I'm supposed to be going, just in case it decided it was going to take me somewhere else.
Yeah,
I think it's a conspiracy by the sat nav people. Let's take Tara somewhere else.
I know. Well, you know, sometimes that's quite nice, and there's you know, there's value in going off kilter, which this year forced us as Wiggle Bums to go off kilter, you know, as it probably did many businesses and many lives. We've been forced to rethink our business strategy, really. And so this year has been a real shift in mindset, because of course Wiggle Bums is a yoga class a mindfulness class for kids, and so it's forced us to go off track and change our goals and work in a different way. And actually it's really beneficial now that we've kind of shifted our mindset and learned the new skills that we needed to learn to be able to action what we've actioned this year. So sometimes there's good value in having to go off piece.
I think last year, actually. We're in the new year.
Oh my God, we are. We're in the new year. It's 2021. Well,
I was thinking, oh my goodness, a lot of change happening in like a few days. But it's last year already, remember?
Yeah, God, time is an irrelevance to me.
No, exactly. So what have you done that's different with Wiggle Bums then? How did you adapt?
Yeah, so, you know, as soon as that first in March, as soon as that all happened, we were like, oh my gosh, you know, we had to really kind of think about our Zoom calls and our online offering. So I've worked online now for 6 years. So my kind of soul retrieval and therapy business that I started when I was on mat leave 6 years ago, I put that online. So there's a lot of skill set that I already had under my sleeve. So my sister is Lush Tums, which is pregnancy and postnatal and antenatal education yoga classes as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we've, you know, together there's about 60 odd, 70 odd teachers suddenly faced with no business. Not just our own, and so we got together and it was like, okay, so this is how we put it online. So, you know, the kind of mic you would use, the camera that you would use, the setting, the lighting, how you would run that with a group of women, when you would have them able to chat and when you would kind of turn them off, and with the children as well, being able to send them kind of activity sheets, send mum activity sheets, so she could get the mindfulness activities together before the class started. So whether that was his or her teddy bear or a scarf or a feather, or go outside in nature and find some leaves or whatever for that little portion. So we got together quite quickly. So within 2 weeks, all our teachers were up and running online.
That's really good.
And it could really support the families, because obviously we were all scared. The kids were like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So it's a real anchor for them to still have a community base, really. And yeah, the classes were hectic, and they weren't
I'm sure they were.
Yeah, they weren't normal, as it were, but you know, that wasn't the point. The point is connection, community connection.
Yeah.
And so we're keeping that, you know, as soon as we can go back into the real world, we are. But we're also, many teachers are keeping that element because it meant that they weren't geographically bound for the families. Suddenly families from Scotland could sign up, and, you know, families over in London, if they were up in Manchester, could sign up. So suddenly we could reach more families and
I was just going to say,
them.
actually, it's opened up so much. You're not contained to just your local town anymore, are you? With it, which is really good. It's making it a global village for everybody. It's really amazing. Although I don't know how that's going to, I mean, when you go back to normal, how are you going to still service the clients that are off in London and Scotland?
Yeah, so what we're doing is some of the teachers are just keeping their weekly class online and then creating their offline version. So they've got the online version for their little community in their area, and then they've got the one. So it just means that there's more business, which is great.
Good.
So we'll just keep the two things, and then as for our side of it, as the teacher training element, I had to really shift my focus, because going online wasn't something, I mean, we value the days, the contact days that we have with our students to teach them this. And so it wasn't ever something that I'd considered, or my sister, to put it online. So over this year, we've really had to change our mindset and really bring the focus in. And actually what we've created is such a substantial, 3 courses I've created, such a substantial content that when we do eventually go back into being able to teach our new teachers in the real world, they will have this as their support, so they'll always have access to that.
That's really cool. Yeah,
it's really cool. So people are coming on now, so they're training again all over the place, and all over the world. So I've just had people coming from America contacting me just in this last month, wanting to do the teacher training. So we've expanded our geographical reach. And so we're doing this lovely fusion of online self-learning with in-person connection. So we have our Zoom calls, and we have our monthly group business coach meetings, and then we do the live yoga on Zoom. So, and then they've got this hub that they can always access whenever they want. So it's working.
That's really good. So is this teacher training for children's yoga and mindfulness? Is that what you're teaching them? Yeah.
Okay. So we teach, so obviously with my other business, I mean, I'm quite mindfulness based. So I've got this quite amazing science-based 8-week adult mindfulness and meditation course, teacher training. So we've had quite a few people sign up to that, because of course you can run that brilliantly online. You don't have to run that in the real world at all. So people who are, their businesses are failing and they're having to kind of rejig, or yoga teachers, adult yoga teachers that want an extra stream of income coming in, they've been signing up to that, and they get everything. They get the PowerPoint presentation all done, the manuals all done. All they have to do basically is learn it and rock up and do it. And then we have this beautiful one, because obviously the children, the children are really, they might not be showing it right now, but the psychological impacts and emotional impacts on the children in our communities will be massive in the years to come. And so this is our little way of trying to remedy a little bit of that. So it's a whole new course. It's really going into mindfulness and meditation for kids, lots of activities. It's a weekly thing that they come to, and we teach them. There's some NLP tools in there. There's beautiful breath work and yoga tools in there to help them self-regulate their emotions,
Yeah.
their tricky thoughts, you know, because, you know, they're all in their kind of security base has been shifted, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
The normality has shifted, and so bringing them back to their resourcefulness, really. So that's an online or in the real world weekly thing to help children with anxiety, you know, work through that anxiety, work through that, just build their mental health, build their resilience, build their feeling of safety and security. So that's a beautiful little one that's come out this year that potentially wouldn't have been birthed if we hadn't had
possibly.
this,
Yeah.
you know.
And what age groups is that for? Are they all mixed age group, or do you do separate ones for different ages?
Yeah, so we do 6 to 8 year olds, 8 to 12 year olds, 12 to 16 year olds, and do them in those kind of little groups like that. And again, it works perfectly online. We just send through the activity sheets that we're going to do that week. We might be looking at anxiety, we might be looking at stress, we might be looking at worry, bodies, relationships, all those labels. I am ugly, I am this, you know, as they start morphing into teens, and they take on all that kind of identity crisis happening, and we can really you know, work through that with them, and reinforce the good in each child that comes to your mat or comes to your class. And I think that's, you know, those gifts came through this year because I could see the effects that this potentially is going to have on the next generation, and kind of try and do my best to help remedy that in a small way.
That's amazing. That's it's something that we really need, isn't it, in the world? Definitely. I was talking just before you came on about the experience we shared on the 21st of December. So I'd said that you were downloading DNA, which I had absolutely I was there, but I'd have no idea what was actually happening, what that actually meant. Can you explain a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, of course. So my day job, really, I mean, this Wiggle Bums is a sideline. So my day job really is I'm a therapist, and I also an integration therapist, but I'm also a soul retrieval. So I have been doing this for 20 years. I had my first kind of vision back in 1999. And obviously I didn't really know what any of that meant then, but what I now know, that basically I can access the metaphysical landscape quite easily. So information comes to me and then I action it. So all of my work has come from that space, really. What to do next. Here's what you do next. And some of the big things that have happened throughout the last 20 years, I get these big downloads or visions, if you like, and sometimes they just won't go until I action it in the real world. So that might have been to create Wiggle Bums in the first place. You know, as a therapist, I meet a lot of adults, and predominantly the issues that they have all stem from childhood. So if we go back to childhood and we look at the children and we tool them up and we help the parents with positive psychology and all of that, potentially we can have less adults floundering in the adult world. So that's the thing. So on the 12th of December and then the 21st of December, about 3 months previous, I had this huge vision of the 12th and then of the 21st, and that was about reactivating initially the 12 strands of our DNA. We think we only have 3, but we have 24 actually. We ended up doing on the 21st, didn't we? We activated 24 strands of DNA.
Did we?
Yes. So the first one was the 12. So 3 of the physical, 3 of the mental, 3 of the emotional, and 3 of the spiritual.
That was on the 12th.
That was on the 12th.
Yeah.
And then we went to the High Council area, which is an experience unique to everybody, but as those experiences filter through, there's so many similarities that have come through. And we had people on that call from Australia, America, Iceland, Spain, Ireland. We had people from all around the world, so it was quite epic. And on the 21st was a huge day. It was the elders in in Australia were doing this huge ceremony on Uluru. Uluru is the big red rock in Ayers Rock in Australia, and they were doing a ceremony that had been stopped many years ago, and it was there. It had been handed down through their prophecies, handed down that they would finish the ceremony on the 21st, and this came through the Palladians. So this was given to them from the Palladians eons ago.
Okay.
And so part of that ceremony, so when I had this huge download, I didn't know anything about Uluru or the elders or anything at all about that. So, but when it came through, it was very evident that in order for us to play the role that we needed to play as individuals, we needed to be awakened. We needed to activate all of the strands of our DNA and awaken the Kundalini energy, which is like a serpent rainbow energy from your base chakra, and awaken that all the way up so that we could become a clear conduit when we bring the life force or spirit or energetic from the seventh plane of existence, from source energy down through us, creating a rainbow bridge, and then injecting that into the heart chakra of the earth. And then that pulses with the beat through her lifelines to Uluru. And then there was millions of people across the planet doing this at the same time as we were doing it. So the timings were absolutely spot on. And it was palpable. That moment that energy shifted over to Uluru, it was orgasmic, really. I don't really have a word to describe it. And then from there, they built up the energy from everybody, and then that awakened the Kundalini energy, the serpent energy within that rock, which then spread it out into Mother Earth. And now this was really important because the Earth's been raped and pillaged, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, and so
Definitely.
if anyone has ever had a domestic violent relationship, which I have, which was the beginning of all of my journey for the last 20 years, any woman or man knows that you are worn down on an energetic soul level within an inch of your very existence when you're emotionally battered, mentally battered, physically battered on a day-to-day level. You haven't got much left, which is why people don't leave.
They
haven't got it in them. And it's been sucked dry, and that was the state of the earth. That was the state of Mother Earth, right up until the 21st. And so she's had this massive injection of energy, which we all played a massive part in,
sending her lots of love
on a huge energetic level. And then from there, a whole shift of consciousness happened. So there is a great awakening that's happening on this planet right now. And this is a new birthing process. You know, birth is raw and bloody and painful and beautiful in all its gory glory. And that is what's happening right now. And that's where we need to keep our focus, that the shadow stuff has to show itself. The covering is being taken off, and we're seeing what we're seeing, and we're understanding what we're understanding, but we have to look it in the eye. We have to go there, and it's very triggering. I mean, my other business in terms of my integration work and soul retrieval is through the roof. People from everywhere coming now because they want to be reintegrated with every single part of their selves that have fragmented off through peak experiences or traumatic experiences. Now's the time to bring ourselves back to wholeness. as within, so without. So the more we do the inner work, it's represented externally.
Yeah.
The game plan hasn't changed no matter what's happening in the world. The game plan's not changed. We are magnificent creatures who manifest and co-create our reality. And so the real question now is, which timeline do you want to be on? And everyone that came to our 21st and the 12th, I staking the claim, staking it in, this is the timeline that I'm co-creating, which is birthing this beautiful, wholesome, fun, nourishing new era. And that's why I'm starting New Year so excited.
I'm so excited as well. I am. Yeah. It is a really exciting time to be here. There's so much happening and so much change, and you can feel it. You know, I just get excited for the most bizarre reasons, just, well, for no reason. I'm just like,
but also since then as well, the energy, the kind of Schumann resonance that's kind of coming to the planet right now is upgrading DNA and conscious awareness, even if you're not consciously aware. So those I don't know why I'm so excited. That's a sign, you know, that's a sign that it's still permeating through your system.
Well, exactly. You don't have to be conscious of being awakened for it to happen. It's like the law of attraction. It happens whether you're thinking about it or not. It doesn't make a difference. The energy's still there, and energy still changes, and you still co-create and affect it, don't you? Without even, if you do it unconsciously, then obviously you're going to get whatever results are flying around.
Yeah, if you do it, I mean, this is the thing, it's about growing self-awareness. So like you say, the law of attraction is happening regardless of whether you believe in it or not. It's like electricity. Electricity wasn't found or wasn't invented, it was discovered. It's something that's there whether you believe you can flick a switch or not. It's
exactly. You don't have to physically harness the energy and push it into the light, do you?
Yeah. So the law of attraction happens and is determined by your programming, your kind of subconscious programming, not your conscious programming. So we can wishfully think stuff till the cows come home. But what will show us is that unconscious programming down in your subconscious mind. So with The Secret and the law and that kind of thing, they're looking at changing stuff in the outside world first. Or you know, like creating a vision board, for example. That's a really good tool, because you're creating a focus and a visual. What I do is I teach how to upload new beliefs straight into and hardwire that into the subconscious mind, and then from that place you'll attract and repel the right people, the right opportunities, the right situations from your life. And that's effortless when you do it that way round, which leads me into how I started all of this. Really was because I started hacking my mind. I went through all the limiting beliefs that held me back on a business level, because as a spiritual person, I was running all of my trainings. People would come to my house, my kitchen table, my little group online's kitchen table. They used to come to kitchen table. I used to do these one-to-ones for free, because I had this thing about not being able to charge, because this is a spiritual gift that I've got. So I'm not going to charge for that. But that's just belief structure. So whilst I was like, my kids were wearing football boots and their shoes were falling off, like literally, you know, I was living in a council house. I was asking my next door neighbour to borrow a £5, but I had loads and loads of clients coming and helping them rewire their minds, but I couldn't ask them to pay me, because that's one of the things us spiritual people have. We've got like this block on that. So I rewrote it. I thought, I've got to rewrite this. So I used all my tools, my NLP tools, and literally went through every single limiting belief that I had around being able to charge properly for what I do. And then it all catapulted from there on in.
Yes. I mean, did you physically write them down and then rewrite them? Is that what you did with them?
Yeah. So I've got, so on my other website, not the Wigglebums one, which is down at the moment because it had an EU address, and
yes, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, so the government took it down. I had no idea.
Oh
I
my
woke up New
goodness.
Year's Day and my whole website's gone. So
Oh,
I know.
what
So,
the,
but
what?
I know, because I was living in Spain at the time when I made it. It had an EU address,
But it's
and
in the
now
UK. It doesn't make any difference where you are, where you live, does it?
exactly. That's what I would have thought.
Okay.
So, but anyway, so it will be patriciamadalena.co.uk. It's forced my hand. Just
So it's not live free anymore then. I told everybody before you came on it was live free.
I know. So I couldn't get it with a .uk. It's already gone. So it's scuppered all of that. So it's just going to be my name, patriciamadalena.co.uk. And I'm just waiting for the man to point it to my website, however long that's going to take. But on there are they're only a tenner. They're brilliant. So it's like the vision boards workbook, the one that's personal to you workbook. There's one on money. There's one on relationships. They're only a tenner. You download them, print them off, and it will literally take you through the process that I used to create these businesses and this life. You literally go through and you write down all the negative beliefs that you have about your, I had to rewrite my left brain because that was non-existent. I couldn't do admin. I was too right brain and too airy fairy. So I had to bring that on board.
I'm a little bit like that. I'm not very good at admin. I've got paper everywhere. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. So I had to bring that on board. All about overwhelm. I worked on being able to charge the right amount of money and receive it.
Yeah.
So receiving things can be quite difficult, especially for women.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
We can manifest it and then go, oh no, I can't possibly, and we can do all the manifesting thing and then not just actually receive it at the end. So these workbooks, I've made them cheap, so that everybody could do them.
Yeah.
And there's a little MP3 that goes with them, so it takes you on the process to upload, and then you save them, and then you can test them using kinesiology. It all comes from Bruce Lipton. I don't know if you know about Bruce Lipton.
No, I don't know.
Robin Williams. They invented something called psychological kinesiology, which is an amazing process to rewrite your subconscious mind. And when you do that, then the universe just, well, not even the reality, you're putting on a different pair of glasses, and then you will tune in to the right person and the right opportunity, because your programming dictates that you do, and other things that you might have attracted that were no good for you, you repel.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's something. So for my goal setting, my son's joined my Wiggle Bums business. Him and his girlfriend Grace, they now do the Instagram and social media and stuff like that, and they're amazing because they're young and they know what they're doing. But that was part of our goal setting. So we weren't just goal setting. We were then like, is there anything that could stop you from doing this? So I had them doing this hacking whilst we were goal setting, just to get their minds online with the plan. Because there's no point in creating a plan if you're not actually going to do it.
No, that's it. I mean, it's mindset is 80% of success, isn't it? 20% is just what you're doing.
Yeah.
Somebody can teach you the best things, but if you don't have the mindset to believe them and do them, then it's pointless, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why we've got that scenario, New Year's resolutions, and then the gym shoes just collect dust in the corner, and you don't carry it on. It's because you haven't sorted out the inside bit. And we're not taught to, though, are we, Tara? We're not.
No, we're not. I mean, people are like, oh, I'm going to lose 15 pounds, go to the gym, for example, and then they're in the little back of their heads is going, well, it didn't work last year.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
Yeah,
I wouldn't even bother doing it. Even though it's not what you say, it's just playing lip service to it, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's wishful thinking, and that doesn't, in terms of the law of attraction, it's a good thing we have that buffer, because if we wishfully thought an elephant coming in the room, it would come in the room immediately. But that's not how it works. We've got this buffer so that we don't create, like kids, a load of chaos. So
we could do, couldn't we, really?
Yeah. So we've got this lovely lovely, conscious mind, subconscious mind, and universal consciousness. We've got these layers and we've got these filters in between. And so, once you know how that works, it's just a tool like anything else. Once you know how to work it, you're flying. Your life is flying.
That's so cool.
It is really cool.
Yes. So we don't know when patriciamadalena.co.uk is actually going to be working.
Yeah. Well, it probably will be working by the time maybe.
Yes, by the time
out.
The podcast is out, yes, it will, because it's not coming out today, so that's fine.
Yeah.
So people can actually find you on there. How else can they grab a hold of you? They need to speak to you about anything.
So if you probably put Patricia Madalena in or Wiggle Bums in the Google, it will come up. You can find me on Facebook. I run the Kitchen Table Facebook group, and the one that we've just started, which is the one where we do all the activations. We'll be doing EFT tapping, NLP processes each month. We've got one on the 13th. Tara, put it in your diary. I got downloaded this amazing activation called the Power Prosperity Portal. So we'll be going through into the Power Prosperity Portal for the new year on an energetic level, really kind of decluttering the debris basically that's going to hold you back, and then reinstalling a more I can't even describe it to you. It's like you'll be attracting the prosperity, and I mean prosperity on all levels, not just financial levels. We're talking health, nutrition, friendships, communication, good feelings, that kind of prosperity, as well as financial and all of that other jazz, but that comes off the back of the first thing. So that is stepping into your sovereign self. That's a Facebook group, stepping into your sovereign self.
Actually. Yes.
Yeah. And we're doing that on the 13th. It's free. There's a donation button for those that feel that they would like to do that, but this is for everybody. So again, it's being in service. So don't think that you can't because you haven't got the money and don't think that. Just come anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
Well,
so
the 13th is actually my birthday.
Birthday, Tara. That's amazing.
It's a new moon as well on the 13th.
It's a new moon. Yeah.
It's the actual day that I was born as well.
Oh my gosh, that is making me thrill bumps coursing through.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was born on a Wednesday, and it's Wednesday this year, and it's
my gosh
year, and it's my year 1 in numerology as well.
Oh my gosh,
I'm just like, come. Tell me about it. It's just crazy.
Yeah. You have to come. It's I think it's at 6 in the evening. Till 8, 6 till 8, or 5 till 7, something like that. But it's in the evening, so obviously people are back to work. I know loads of people are furloughed and stuff, but we thought we'd do it at that time. And also,
I might have to catch it afterwards if I'm having dinner with my daughters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will definitely.
We'll be saying happy birthday to you.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll have
to make sure that I get onto that. Definitely.
Yeah, well, any you can use the replay because, as you know, in the metaphysical, time isn't linear. So so whatever's anchored in.
Yeah.
And that goes for the 12th and the 21st. If anyone wants their DNA activated, you can still sign up and get that on your emails. You just need to sign up, and there's links in the Facebook group. And they
I
can do that as well.
Replay, so because we didn't talk after them, but definitely. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, my lovely. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's been really interesting. I just, there's so much different stuff that people don't know about, but just is around, and it's just there for them to tap into whenever they're ready, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And that's it. When they're ready, there is this thing called divine timing. Yeah. And it is perfectly placed. So, yeah. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome. And I shall speak to you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Happy, Inspired, Motivated podcast. I'll be back next week bringing more meditation, mindset and motivation for your happy and successful life. To find out more about our community, go to tarachatzakis.com/happy, inspired, motivated.